Hello everybody and welcome to a new video. I did mention in my last video that I had an idea for a future video, and this is my idea. I'm going to go through my top 3 favourite actors and my top 3 favourite actresses. I'm going to start off with actresses and then go into actors. If I know anything about their career, like what was their first film, what was their breakout film, their most recent film, their most acclaimed film, stuff like that, then I will mention it. I don't own all of their films. In fact, some of these actors, I struggled. I think one of them, my favourite actress, I don't have any at all. I don't know how it's possible, but I don't have any at all of her films on Blu-ray. I had to look in my DVDs, which I don't watch, to find some, and only then I could only find 4. So that shows I do need to get more of her work. And the same goes with one of my favourite actors. I've only managed to find 3. They are all on Blu-ray, but I haven't got a lot of his work. But anyway, I won't go on much longer because I want to get this video done as quick as possible. So I'll start with my third favourite actress. Now, before saying who it is, I'll give you a bit of background, basics. She is an Australian actress. She's probably what she's not famous for, but she was married to a very famous actor back in the 90s, and they did make 3 films together, of which I own 1. I believe she has won an Oscar. If not, she has certainly been nominated for an Oscar. She has starred in the likes of, well, I'm not going to say what because then it'll give it away, and plus I've got some of them to show you, but she starred in some of the what I think are the best films of all time, and I think she's a very diverse actress, and that actress is Nicole Kidman. And obviously she started her career off in Hollywood, in one of these films which I'll show you, which was probably her breakout film, which starred her future husband, Mr. Tom Cruise. She then went on to claim success throughout the 90s, starring in the likes of Far and Away, again with Tom Cruise, and then later on, towards the end of their marriage, they starred in Stanley Kubrick's final film, Eyes Wide Shut. She has also most recently starred in films such as Bombshell. What else has she starred in? The Prom, which I know isn't deemed to be a very good film, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. And she has just started production on Being the Ricardos, about Lucille Ball, who I'm not really familiar with, but anything Nicole Kidman's in, I'll watch. So obviously my favourite Nicole Kidman film is Moulin Rouge, which is probably regarded as one of the best musicals ever made. Expected definitely in the modern times, in the last 20 years, probably one of the best. And this also made, I know Ewan McGregor obviously before this had Trainspotting, but this just showed how good he was as an actor, made him higher. Don't really know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. Yeah, and then obviously the film I was mentioning, which was her breakout film with her husband, is Days of Thunder, which I've only seen once, but I loved it, and I thought it was brilliant. So obviously I picked it up on 4K with Christmas money a few months ago. And then she then did another Baz Luhrmann film in the late 2000s, Australia, which I also really liked, with fellow Aussie Hugh Jackman. She's done some more underrated films she did one with the next actress I'm talking about, which is my second favourite actress, and that film is called Secret in Their Eyes. Now, if you've seen that film or you know that film, you will probably guess who my next favourite actress is anyway. But yeah, I think Nicole Kidman's just a lot of people don't really go for her when they pick their favourite actresses, but I just think she's a very good actress and quite underrated, and almost everything she's in is a good film, regarded as a good film, even if it is a controversial film. She did do quite a lot of controversial films in the early 2000s, like Dogville, and she did another one, I think it was called Birth. and those were in the early 2000s, and I believe they were considered to be quite controversial. I believe Dogville was directed by Lars von Trier, who is quite a controversial director. I've not seen any of his films, but I've heard he is quite a controversial director. But yeah, so that is the reason I like Nicole Kidman. I think she's just a very good actress. I do think that Tom Cruise helped her with her fame. But I think even without Tom Cruise, she would have been as successful as she is now, because she is just such a fantastic actress. So yeah, that's Nicole Kidman at my third favourite actress spot. Coming in at number two is an actress who came to fame in a film which I will show that was released in 1990. Um, she won an Oscar for portrayal of a real life character in a 2000 biopic. Most recently, she starred in a series on Apple, playing a psychiatrist for vets. Not vets as in, you know what I mean, like veterans of the army. Um, yeah, and I might as well just tell you who it is, because I don't want to go on for much longer trying to get it going. I'll just say I'm talking about Julia Roberts. Obviously, she starred in Notting Hill, which is considered one of the best romantic comedies, specifically British romantic comedy. And more recently, she starred in Money Monster, which isn't a massive film, and she wasn't great in it, but it's still a decent film, and it's one I own, so I wanted to show it off. And one that I haven't seen from her yet, Mirror Mirror, which I do need to watch because I like Julia Roberts, and I think it'll probably be quite a fun film. And then obviously, the film where she became famous, her breakout performance, which is obviously Pretty Woman with Richard Gere, which just helped her become famous, right? Her rise to fame. Obviously, her first major performance was in Mystic Pizza, which I haven't seen, and she followed that up with Steel Magnolias, which I think is a fantastic film. Um, and then after that, she went on to Pretty Woman, and then throughout the 90s, she did rather a lot of rom-coms. Then on obviously 2000, it would have been in 2001, she won the Oscar for Erin Brockovich. Um, she was also in the first two Oceans films as Tess Ocean. Um, she starred in her first film with Tom Hanks in 2007, Charlie Wilson's War, and then again in 2012 starred with Tom Hanks in Larry Crown, which I actually really enjoy. And most recently, as I have said, she starred in the series Homecoming on Amazon Prime, and she starred in the film Wonder and Ben is Back, which didn't get a UK release, and she is set to star in Gaslit, which is about the Watergate scandal, which is going to be a series also starring Sean Penn and recently signed on Dan Stevens. And she will also collaborate with George Clooney again at the end of the year for Ticket to Paradise, which is her first rom-com in many years, which I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, I think she's definitely my second favourite actress. I think I like more of her films than not, which is the same case for Nicole Kidman. Um, she was in the 90s considered America's Sweetheart. She was also in a film in 2001 called America's Sweetheart. Um, but yeah, that is my second favourite actress, Julia Roberts. Now, my first favourite actress, which I said I only surprisingly own 4 of her films and they're only on DVD. She rose to fame, I believe it was in the 70s, starring in the likes of The Deer Hunter, Kramer versus Kramer, Sophie's Choice, The French Lieutenant's Woman, um, and then what else? I don't know what else she was in the 80s. Um, but she's been in an awful lot of films. I think every single performance that she gives is different from the last. She isn't like some actresses where they are the same person in every single film they are. Mainly I'm talking about the likes of Diane Keaton, who I just think isn't a great actress. She does just act as the same person in every single film she has nowadays, especially. But this actress, she has is the only actress. I don't know exactly how many Oscars she's been nominated for, but she's nominated for an Oscar almost every year. You probably know who she is at this point. She is, I believe she won an Oscar. I believe she won the Oscar for The Iron Lady. I don't know what else she won an Oscar for. I don't know how many Oscars she's won. I know she's been nominated for a hell of a lot. I think the most anyone's ever been nominated for. And that is obviously Meryl Streep, which you probably already guessed by now. And she has starred in this was, I believe, her first film with Tom Hanks, which is a Steven Spielberg film, The Post, which I need to upgrade on Blu-ray, obviously. And then this was one I wanted to get with an actress I've actually already just mentioned, and an actor that I also really do like in one of his very early roles. And this is quite a good film, which actually I've just realised, I'm not going to say who the actor is, but it has an actor in that is my second favourite actor, so this could count as both. I'm not going to say who's in it. If you know the film, which you probably won't because it is quite a small film. That is Marvin's Choice, obviously, with Meryl Streep, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Diane Keaton. This was 96, so just before Titanic. There is also an actor in this who is my second favourite actor. If you have seen the film, then you probably know what I'm talking about, because there is only really one other major actor in this, although he doesn't have a massive part. But we'll talk about him later anyway. But this is actually a pretty good film. It's about two sisters that are quite estranged, and this sister over here is dying, and this is Meryl Streep's son. DiCaprio's Meryl Streep's son, and he's a very troublesome. He set fire to their house, and he got put in juvie, but she takes him out of juvie to come and help look after her sister, his aunt, and yeah, it's just a really nice film, I think. Good performances from everyone in this. Yeah, so she was in that. And then this is probably my favourite rom-com she was in, because it is from my favourite writer, and that is it Nancy Meyers? Yeah, Nancy Meyers, who did, let me go back to try and see if I can do it in order. She did, I might miss one out, she did Something's Gotta Give, which I love, which I have got. She then did The Holiday, which is a great Christmas film. She then, I believe, did this. I might be missing some out here, probably. And she also then did The Intern, which I am going to get soon because I love that film. And I'm talking about It's Complicated, which is Meryl Streep, Alec Baldwin, and Steve Martin. I just think it's really funny. I think all of the characters are really good. I do really need to get this on Blu-ray because I do really like this film and I want to watch it again. So yeah, that's another one of her great films. And she's also done this film which I watched recently, which also has Tommy Lee Jones and Steve Carell in, and that is Hope Springs, which is from the director of The Devil Wears Prada, which she is obviously in. That is one of her only films that I've watched that I personally don't like. I think her performance in it is fantastic, but I just personally don't like the film. I can appreciate that it is a good film, but it's not my type of film. But she was nonetheless very good in it. But this is a quite good film. It's about a couple whose relationship after many years is kind of soured, is kind of stale, and she takes them to this counsellor, Steve Carell, to try and reinvigorate their romance and their love for each other. And I just thought it was a really sweet, nice film. So yeah, so that's the film. That's literally the only films I own that has Meryl Streep in. So I definitely have to start getting some more of hers. I've seen most of them anyway, but like most of her modern ones. But I will try and get more so I can watch them. Because yeah, she is my favourite actress. So that's the actresses. So obviously we had Nicole Kidman as my third favourite actress, Julia Roberts as my second favourite actress, and Meryl Streep as my favourite actress. Now I'm going to go on to actors. Coming in at number 3, this actor started his career in a supporting role in Jack Nicholson's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He also had a supporting role in Terms of Endearment, which I really like, which also has Jack Nicholson in. and then he went on to star in the 80s in films such as Romance in the Stone, The Jewel of the Nile, which is its sequel, Ruthless People. I'm trying to think of what else he was in the 80s. In the 90s, he did one that I watched recently, Renaissance Man. He also did Batman Returns. He also directed, again, Jack Nicholson. They're obviously friends, in Hoffa. And that is Danny DeVito. I know, quite a strange choice, but I've recently started watching quite a lot of his films that I haven't seen, and I just think he's a really, really good actor. He can be really funny when he wants to be, and he's just as good as being a dramatic actor. One of my favourite films of his is Matilda, which is one of my favourite films because I grew up with it. I think he just directed this really well, and he plays Mr. Wormwood very well. And I think his narration of the film's really good as well. I like how he narrated it as well. And then his most recent film, which is more of a supporting role, and he's not in it for very long, is Jumanji: The Next Level, but he's still funny in this. Yeah, I actually like this film. I know not as many people do as the first Jumanji, but I like that one. And then probably my favourite Tim Burton film, Big Fish. He plays the ringmaster that is, I think he turns into a wolf, but does he? That's all I'm going to say. Or tiger or something. He turns into something, I know that at night. But yeah, he's really good in that, and I just think that he's a great actor. As I say, I recently watched Renaissance Man, which I think is a really good comedy drama. Dramedy, really, isn't it? What else have I seen with him in? Obviously, he's in It's Always Sunny, which I've just started, but he's not in it until the second series. I'm trying to think what else. Deck the Halls, which I used to watch so many times at Christmas, but last year I tried watching it and I couldn't get through it because I'd watched it so many times. I just didn't want to watch it anymore. Dumbo, which is another Tim Burton film, he's in that. He's just a good actor, and anytime he's in a new thing, I always watch it because I do really like him. And next is my second favourite actor, and he has been in a film we have already mentioned. He was in Marvin's Room. He came to fame, I want to say, in the 70s. His breakout performance was probably Taxi Driver, although he was in Mean Streets. I'm not going to list the films he was in because he's in so many films. I could be sat here for ages talking about all the films he's been in, but that is Robert De Niro. I was originally going to choose Jack Nicholson, but I thought I've not seen as many Jack Nicholson films as Robert De Niro, and every Robert De Niro film that I have personally seen, I think he has been brilliant in. This is mainly because I watched Silver Linings Playbook. I rewatched that yesterday, and I thought he was brilliant in that. So I'm planning on this week trying to order a lot of his films that I've not seen, some more of his recent films that are under the radar but of good reviews. But I personally have of his films, these are just some of them. Backdraft, which he is really just a supporting role in, but he's still really good. I don't know the name of his character, but he plays the investigator that has to investigate after the fires happen, the arson investigator. This is probably my favourite film of his. More than likely, I would say Heat, which I watched recently for the first time. I think he's fantastic in this, and obviously the first time on screen with Al Pacino. Then he's also been in, as I've just mentioned, Silver Linings Playbook, which I think he's fantastic in. He's also been, what other David? He had a very, very small role in American Hustle. It was more of a cameo. And obviously he was in Joy, which I am also going to get this week to rewatch, because David O. Russell has a new film coming out, hopefully at the end of this year, which also is going to have Robert De Niro and it's going to have the usuals. Actually, it's not, because usually he goes for Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, and I believe neither of them are in this film. But it does have Christian Bale, who was obviously in The Fighter and American Hustle. And who else is in it that he's worked with before? Robert De Niro, as I've said. But yeah, can't think of anyone else that he's worked with before. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But that's a good film. And another one I watched recently, Sleepers, which, whilst his performance isn't amazing, he's obviously still good in it. I don't think this film is amazing. It's a good film, but I think the performances are quite weak in this. They don't stand. No, none of the performance in this stand out. Although it is quite a good film, I would use the word harrowing to describe it. But it is a good film. But I don't think any of the performances in it, not even Robert De Niro, stand out anyway. So Robert De Niro is my second favourite actor. We've gone on 20 minutes, so I apologise. If you're still watching, thank you, but you really shouldn't need to be still watching. You can skip backwards and forwards because I do waffle on a bit sometimes. But anyway, my favourite actor of all time. His first film is a film I have watched, which is October Sky from 1999. He then followed that up with Donnie Darko, which I have not yet seen. He then did The Day After Tomorrow, which he hasn't got a massive role in, but he is. Well, I don't think he has. I can't really remember. But I'm talking about, if you didn't already know, Jake Gyllenhaal, who, like Meryl Streep, I think every single film he is in, he plays a completely different character, and you can tell he's completely different in each role that he is in. Um, so yeah, he was good in that, and then he followed that up with Sam Mendes' Jarhead, which I haven't seen yet, and I really do need to watch that. And his more recent career, he did these films in 3 years. So he did the first one year, then the next year, and the next year, and they were all 5-star films. So he started with Prisoners, which also has Hugh Jackman, which is fantastic. Denis Villeneuve film. He then did Nightcrawler, again fantastic. Probably his second best performance. And then my favourite of his films, and one of my favourite films, Southpaw, which he is just amazing in. And then what has he done more recently? He's done, obviously, Spider-Man, Far From Home. He played Mysterio, Quentin Beck. And that upcoming for him, I believe he has The Guilty, which is based on, I believe, I might be slightly wrong with this, I believe it's based on a Swedish film. The set is set, it's only, I think it only had 2 characters in the Swedish film, and it's set in one room, but this is like more of an adaptation, and it's got quite a lot of other people in, and it's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who did obviously the Equalizer films. I think he did both of them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's Netflix. That'll probably be some point later in the year. And he's just finished filming Michael Bay's new film Ambulance, which I'm really looking forward to because it's described as, I think it was described as Speed meets Bad Boys, I think, or something. It was described as something like that. So, and if you mention Speed or Bad Boys, 2 of the best action films of all time, in one sentence, then I have very high hopes. And I actually do quite like Michael Bay. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he has done some quite good films. I mean, 13 Hours, that was a really good film. Pain and Gain was a good film. Obviously, his 90s films, The Rock, the first 2 Bad Boys. Um, I'm probably in the minority when I say I have fun with the Transformers films. I can understand that not a lot of people like them, and they're not great films, but I have fun with them. I like them. So yeah, Michael Bay is quite a good director, but yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's going to be in that, and I think that's all he's got. I think he's got both of them in the can, so they're definitely happening. They're definitely coming out. Um, but yeah, he's definitely my favourite actor, and anytime he's got a new film out, I'm just absolutely hyped, and that film was in my top 10. So The Guilty is probably in my top 10 of this year, and Ambulance is probably my number 1 for next year. I think that's out in February. But yeah, that's it. Sorry this video's gone on for almost half an hour. I do tend to waffle on, but I like to get my thoughts out on each of these people. Um, I know not everyone's gonna like these actors as much as I do, but if you do, let me know of, of each of these actors, what is your favourite film or performance that they have done. Um, Let me know your favourite actors and actresses in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like. You can also dislike the video if you think it was too long, because it was too long, and I wouldn't blame you. Or if you have any other problems with it, and you can let me know down in the comments what your problems are, and I'll try and improve on them in the next video. Also, turn on the notification bell if you want to know when I have a new video on, because I don't post on a schedule, so I can have a new video on at any time during any day. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And until next time, take care everyone. Goodbye.